understand the power of social media. And it's not an expensive tool. It's almost free. But if you use it correctly, you position it correctly, and of course now I'm beginning to understand there's a science behind it. It's not just a matter of just posting. You know, I'm beginning to learn that there are certain times of the week, certain periods where if you post, you get more people looking at what you've posted, what you have been posting. How do you grow your links with other people, like in LinkedIn? I mean, my partner Glenn has got 20,000, 20,000 community following him, you know, on LinkedIn, and that's huge, and you know, all over Southeast Asia. So every time you make a posting, somewhere out there is looking at it, and he's learning about your organization, and he's learning about what you're doing, right? It's digital marketing, right? So we are big into social media, and I'm quite sure many of you here who've got your startups, or you know, who are going into entrepreneurship in a big way, right, are also doing that. But my advice for you is that use it to your advantage. Learn as much as you can about how to be more effective on the social media platform, and the benefits will be there. You'll reap the benefits, okay? Like what we are doing right now. Okay, so you know, these are just illustrations of the engage, you know, the enrich and empowerment. These are the various, you know, like for instance, the one, the picture in the center, right? The chairman for CA came to Singapore, and they engaged us. They said, look, you know, he gave a wonderful talk in Davos about the apps economy. You know, I went onto YouTube, I saw the talk. I thought it was a very, very nice talk. And when he came to Singapore, he said he wanted to engage really high-level C executives in Singapore to share, you know, what he spoke about in Davos. And we put together a wonderful round table. We had people like Jacqueline Poh, you know, from GovTech now. She leads GovTech. We had Robert Yap, right? These are all people who are, you know, quite reputable, quite well-known in Singapore, and they were interested to come and listen to him, you know. And we moderated the session. It was a wonderful session, you know. Of course, they had very nice dinner, right? But the conversations that took place was wonderful. I learned a lot. So did my partner Glenn, you know. And everybody had a wonderful conversation, a wonderful dinner. They left, and they were happy about the whole thing, right? And then, of course, when you do something like this and word gets around, it helps to promote your brand. Yeah. Okay. Workshops, training. Okay, so this is where I will, so, you know, I'm okay for time. Yeah. Okay, so a lot of people are asking us, right? So Rama, well and good, you know, you're doing this pillar, you're doing sponsorships, you're making good revenues. Will it last? Sponsorships will never last forever, okay? And we know that. So we are fully aware of the fact that it's a good start. You know, it's good for us to build up our brand, generate revenues. Eventually, we need to grow our academy pillar, because that's what we're all about, right? CIO Academy Asia, right? We cannot be just doing one event after another and organize things and hope for sponsors to come on board. So what we are doing in the next year is that we're going to start growing our academy pillar. What's the academy pillar? Academy pillar is all about extracting content, valuable content that is being generated from all our events, capturing it, publishing it, or capturing it as a curriculum, and then develop, say, workshops, you know, for the academy pillar. Go out there and use that to teach, say, the next generation of CIOs or aspiring leaders, you know, in IT, and hopefully from this curriculum, this content, they can benefit from it. And if it's good enough, people will pay to attend your courses. And then we can say that we can break free from just depending on sponsorships. Okay, so that's where we are heading towards, you know, building up our academy pillar. And for that, We have signed MOUs with business schools like SAC, you know, we're working with SMU, and some of them now are willing to work with us, collaborate with us, because we bring content that is generated from the industry. Real life cases, right? Seasoned folks, leaders who want to share their insights. All that can be captured as part of the curriculum. Okay? So I give you an example. We signed an MOU with, I told you, this French school called SAC. Now we are doing a couple of workshops with them. They have their normal 3-day, 5-day workshops where they conduct, you know, in different areas. The tail end, the last 1 day, they'll keep it free to bring CIO Academy Asia, bring about 4 to 5 CIOs from the industry, put them in a panel so that they can share their war stories with the participants of the workshop, you know. So that sort of is a nice plug-in, you know, where you bring industry relevant stories and case studies, and the matured students in the business schools appreciate that, you know, and you can have an interaction, you know, with our practitioners. Okay, so this is just one of the examples. Okay, as we go along, we will probably be having more of such, you know, engagement. Okay, and yeah, I don't want to elaborate too much on all this. As you can see, like we mentioned just now, we have conducted quite a number of events over the last 1.5 years. So these are all various aspects of it. You know, the one on the right would be the folks, the youth that we are engaging as well from, say, SMU, from universities. We are empowering them also, so that when we do our CSR, say if it is outside of Singapore, we can bring these people and they can work with the CIOs, you know, to help those communities, those underprivileged people who have not had enough contact with technology, you know. So one of the things that CIO Academy Asia does a lot is that we engage a lot of young people to work with us. Okay, so we have a good blend. You know, we have the most senior people, people like me with the grey hair, and then the younger folks. Okay, and we try very hard to make sure that we impart, you know, some of our experience and also coach them, and, you know, hopefully over time they can be better leaders. Okay, I don't want to elaborate too much. I think along the way I have mentioned to you. In short, it's all about value, right? If you don't, you know, have a good, unique value proposition, then you know, you'll never be able to grow your brand, and you'll never be able to get more people to be interested in working with you, right? So in short, that's what it's all about. Okay, so my final slide, right? So people are asking me, right? So your last 1 year or so, what have you learned? You know, I was just sitting down and I was telling myself, okay, how do I put this all together in a manner in which, you know, when you walk out from this place, at least you can think of some of my insights, you know, my reflections. I call it poems, you know. Poems, you know, poems is basically something that has a lot of feelings, you know, something that you can share when you put it down. So this is what I come up with, right? So in the area of poems, each letter means something, right? So this in a nutshell is what I think has helped us, CIO Academy Asia, to be where we are today. Okay. Firstly, all about partnerships and relationships, and I think if you're in the tech industry, don't ever think that you can do it on your own. You will need the ecosystem, right? You'll need the community. You'll need relationships with people whom you know, your partners, right? It's very important. Without which, I don't think you can accelerate your growth, right? It's basic, it's fundamental, okay? You need it, okay? No two ways about it, you know? And we have leverage on this in a big way, okay? And as I said earlier, both Glenn and myself, we've really spent a lot of time with our community. We have leverage on our past relationships, and we are building new relationships, okay? And likewise, I think for you, if you're starting your own company, or if you're halfway there, or, you know, maturing your company, this is the best way to accelerate your growth, okay? Right? Leverage on other people and people who you know. Overseas expansion, I think, again, I don't need to probably be preaching to the converted here. I mean, you got to have a game plan. Our plan was very simple. We just wanted Southeast Asia first. Yeah, we have consciously left out China and India because I don't think we can, at this point in time, with the resources that we have, we may not be able to swallow it. So let's take it one step at a time. Let's just go places where it's close by, Southeast Asia, and I think we're beginning to gain some traction there. We'll see what happens next. Okay, so you must have a plan, right? And really, experience, no doubt about it, it counts. I mean, people can say, yeah, I like to have a company where only young people, because it's technology, it's new technical stuff. The older folks don't know about it. They are people who, you might as well put them in a museum and all that. I don't buy that. Okay, I tell you this. Look, I was from the public sector, right? So now I'm in the private sector, right? I'm using all my experiences that I've gained over the last 3 decades in the public sector, and I'm applying it in CIO Academy Asia. Now, what do I mean? Managing people. Okay? A lot of it comes through experience, right? It's never taught in books. Okay? How do you deal with different types of people? How do you motivate them? How do you get the best from them? How do you ensure that they work well as a team? A lot of it can come from people with experience. But of course, I can understand that the millennials are a different breed altogether, and it may require a different style of managing, a different way of motivating them. But the basics are all still the same, right? They are people, And if you have sufficient experience and you know how to press the right buttons, you know how to motivate them in certain ways, it comes through experience, And if you don't have them in your company, get advisors, people who are experienced enough to help you, in whichever aspect of the company that requires experience. Okay? So experience really counts and it makes a difference, right? And look, I think you've heard this also many times. You're going to make mistakes, right? You're going to fail. You're going to... CIO Academy, we hired a few people, it didn't work out, right? We wanted to do certain programs, it didn't work out, right? But it's fine, we didn't allow that to hold us back, right? But what's important is learn from it, right? So we always say, look, we did this, it didn't work. We hired that guy, it didn't work. In our next hire, please try and avoid that, right? Try and avoid somebody with that profile, or try and avoid, making a hasty decision. Or we wanted to do that program, it didn't work. When we plan for our next program, let's think of something different, right? Because the last time we did that, it didn't work, right? So it will happen, right? But the good thing is that when you are a young company, it's easier to get over it, right? Of course, maybe if you come from a larger organization, the mistakes may be a little bit more painful, right? But like it or not, it's part and parcel of the process of growing. Yeah? So you cannot avoid it. I don't need to emphasize more social media. I already touched on it earlier. I mean, it's the best form of marketing tool and it's the cheapest in the market. Yeah? If you know how to use it well and you know how to use it correctly, it can make a difference. Okay? In terms of the way you project your image to your community. And last thing is that this is something actually I think we do it but we don't realize it. Sense and respond. Now what do I mean? Look, not all your plans will work. You have a plan, as you go along, you adapt it. If it doesn't, you cut corners or you tweak it a bit, right? But always adapt as you go along and respond accordingly. Okay? And we've been doing that. Okay? Some of the things that we are doing today, we didn't even realize that we could have done it a year ago, but it happened along the way. We learn through our engagements from our customers, we get feedback, and then we tweak, we adapt, and then we come up with a new offering or a new program. Okay? So I think when you're smaller, you're more nimble, you're more agile, better for you. Do that, okay? Right? Don't take too long to adapt and change your programs. Sometimes people, what they say, analyze until you're paralyzed, right? Don't get into that trap, okay? Sometimes quickly sense when you know something is not right, regroup, make a decision quickly. Don't dwell on it too long. Because if you don't make a decision, don't be decisive, it will hurt you. You know? Okay? That's about it. And I hope that, you know, what I've had to say, you know, made sense to all of you, right? Like I said, I'm an accidental entrepreneur. I'm not a natural entrepreneur, right? My background is mostly in the private sector, but at least from, you know, the last year or so in CIO Academy Asia, this is what I've learned. So thank you very much.
Can I make a couple of observations?
Sure, please.
And Bill, you have sort of only been involved in CIO Academy or participated
That's
in
right.
events.
Yeah. By the way, Bill is one of my advisors.
I think one of the main attraction, you know, for CIO Academy is that you have the CIOs, their buyers community, rather than vendors.
That's right.
If you have vendors, they are less willing to share. Right? The IBMs and the you know, digital or the, you know, they would not want to share some of their
some of it is like restricted information.
So I think this is a
That's
natural
right.
audience to
Right.
leverage on. The other one is that why is it attractive is, you know, a lot of the vendors they are willing to sponsor is because, you know, it's not easy to get to know the
Get access to
CIOs.
the CIOs. Yeah.
And the fact that if they just participate, right, even without, you know, presenting, they get to know the CIO.
And they can build a relationship.
And later on they can,
Yeah.
you know, make use of that.
Absolutely right.
So that is really, and the third thing is this 100,000 names, right? CIOs at C level. I think that is a gold mine.
Yes.
And the question is, how
How do you harvest it?
harvest, but without, you know,
being in their face.
in the face and being sort of, you know, too obvious.
You're absolutely right.
And I think the last point is that I noticed the reason why you're able to progress so quickly is really the, you know, Glenn and yourself. I'm not trying to
Sure.
praise you too much. Is the charismatic leadership, and also when you organize event, is to make it fun.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. The fun
Because
element must be there.
you know, CIOs don't want to go there and just, you know, day in, day out be loaded with, you know, lectures and all that.
Right.
So I call it edutainment.
Edutainment.
There is education, there's entertainment.
Yeah. That's
And
right.
the fact that you guys can find a venue and have activities organized around it. And the venue of Bhutan, as most of you know, is supposed to be the world's happiest nation. They go on gross national, gross
Gross national happiness, G&H.
Gross happiness.
Gross
index.
that.
And most CIOs to find out why are people happy, what makes them happy.
Right.
So that's another you know,
Right.
attraction of getting people there.
Right. Yeah.
So this is just a few points to add.
Question,
Right.
what does the CIO think of the startup community? Because
Okay.
I think being CIOs, they are
Sure.
going to be in a larger organization.
Right. Yeah.
The startups are usually at smaller and more nimble.
Yeah. Right.
Any
Actually, very good question, because the whole perspective from a CIO's point of view towards startups, I think has changed. You know, if you had asked me, say 5 years or 5, 6 or more than 5 years ago, most of the CIOs will say, look, you know, don't bother me until you have a matured product or a matured service, then I'll start to look at what you have. Now, the situation has changed. Now, many of the CIOs know that they can innovate faster, or they can learn with better ideas and better concepts from the startup community, and they must find a way to engage them. Okay, now what do I mean by find a way to engage them? CIOs also have difficulty trying to have a direct engagement with startups. Okay, because as I said earlier, especially in the technology space, sometimes they say there's a lot of noise. There's so many things happening there. They need to have somebody to help them create this engagement. You know, so I think probably ACE or maybe even SCS or SITF, or in fact even they're asking us now, CIO Academy, hey, can you create platforms where you can pick, say, 10 to 12 really good startups with good ideas, good, you know, technologies, good solutions, and then create an opportunity for the CIOs to come and engage them. Okay, so I think there's an opportunity there. It's how we can do it. How can we create that platform? Right? They are more open now. Yeah. Right.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
So I have a question. You asked how CIOs can engage startups. Reversely, how startups get involved in CIO Academy Asia ecosystem.
Yeah.
To be part of how you are educating CIOs.
Yeah.
Going through the, I want to say going through the learning in,
Yeah. You.
because I think the startups are still too small in many cases. But I think there is value in engaging.
Definitely there is value. Yeah.
My questions are looking at open innovation, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where you're right.
Mm.
CIOs are really opening up to leverage external R&D into startups rather
Right.
than internal R&D.
Exactly.
And there is an opportunity for startups to
There
work,
is.
but it's just a matter of how things can be moved together because you
Yeah.
do have access to the mind time, the brain time of the CIOs, right? But they need to be fed with the opportunity that exists out there.
Yes.
Through
Right.
the technologies emerging from the startups. Some may fail, some may
Some, yeah, exactly.
right?
Yeah.
But the willingness to take risk exists today.
That's right. Yeah.
How does it?
So, yeah, go ahead.
Actually,
Chuck,
it's
go
quite
ahead, Chuck.
interesting because
Yeah.
I think you all have an answer, right?
Yeah,
I think maybe
yeah.
one of these days, either you share or invite the Unilever guys to come and share. Because
Yeah.
I know that Giri has working with Unilever
Yeah.
in this thing called a foundry, right? What foundry does is that they look at all types of ideas from all over the world in Unilever and outside Unilever, right?
Right.
And what the foundry does is that the foundry actually have these guys spark off ideas, right? And they actually track the ideas,
Yeah.
like out of which I think they have tracked 100 over ideas, 200 over ideas, and then 45 of them actually became scaled into products,
Yeah.
right? But Unilever is very different, right? Because they are a global, very large.
And they have a process, huh? They have a
They have a
process.
process, right? So maybe
No,
there's
I
something.
think they have done a different process
Yeah.
because the procurement process, is completely different from that.
Oh, it has to be. The procurement cycle has to be very different. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
those are thoughts, those are
Yeah.
thoughts.
So anyway, good question, because even in CIO Academy Asia now, as I said, Chuck, earlier, that quite a number of the CIOs are also asking us to say, hey, how can we bridge the gap, you know, so that we can get access to understand more about what the startups are offering. Now, a lot of people actually these days, they conduct like study trips where you go to Israel or you go to San Francisco or, in places like this, and inevitably they get to meet with startups. Okay, now why don't you take that and invert it to just the Singapore market? I mean, likewise, CIO Academy Asia or any other agency wanting to do this kind of business can actually play that role of filtering the best of the breed, right, and conduct tours, right, and bridge the gap. I mean, that's just one way. The other way is that now we are talking to the folks from Singapore Exhibition Services who do Community Asia every year. We said, look, besides just the usual big guys in the exhibition hall, why don't we create a space where we will do some research, some homework along functional lines, say under HR, under finance, or any other, like under marketing. We find the best of the breed startups for you, and we put them together. And then we invite the CIO community to come and engage them. I mean, these are just channels where you can create more opportunities for that meeting to take place.
I think that's, really the biggest challenge for startup. When you create something, how do you reach out to channel.
for this to happen, the connection,
Correct,
you know, based on relationships and all that. Yeah.
So because you're writing on CIO is -1 level, right? Which is very important.
Even -1. Yeah.
Because
Those people are very important because they are the ones who are actually doing the actual evaluation, you know. Right?
and they are the missionaries.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay.
All right, hey, thanks a lot.
Oh, no problem.
Really appreciate it.
Very enjoyable.
All right, we'll end the session today, right? But I think today I'm actually experimenting on organizations and different organizations that the startup can involve and should be involved with, right? Maybe looking down from this, right? I may invite the other organizations to also do a presentation like SITF, you know, maybe even I'll do a presentation on what SCS is all about, right? Because I think other than just working with the technopreneurs itself, right? We should actually do a lot more externally and doing the networking, right? Pizza is here, right? So I thank you guys for coming again this weekend. This week, we'll see you guys next week. Thank you very much.